So in the past few days, we have seen there is a big announcement for the DIFC2. The government have already established a master plan and they have already published it, that they will be coming up with a bigger and better DIFC expansion, and almost the capital size is touching to 100 billion dirhams. So there is a big plan to increase the capacity. So anyone who has been understanding the macroeconomics of Dubai, they know that there are so many companies being registered in DIFCs. Because of that, the expansion was long awaited in the market. Right now, they are completely shifting and increasing everything in this new master plan of DIFC2. They are coming up for the first phase 3 residential buildings inside the master plan, and there is a lot happening apart from this hype of DIFC2, because anytime you will contact any broker, he will start telling you all those stuff which I am already telling you. But again, not many people can understand how to create a portfolio whenever you're investing in the market of Dubai. Now, people usually have a lot of FOMO, but they don't realize the actual scenarios, the realities of the market, which is why I wanted to give you a story of one of my clients who contacted me. He's in his mid 40s and he told me that, Matlub, I wanted to create a portfolio in the market of Dubai. Now, he wanted my strategy and how to go about and creating those kinds of portfolio. The guy is basically managing a lot of businesses in a European market. I don't want to name the country because we recently had a talk and he's also watching this video. So this guy is basically doing the airport maintenance in his country. So the kind of a size of a portfolio that he wants to create in the market of Dubai, you can get some kind of an idea. And he started off with his first investment in Hado by Beyond in Dubai Island B. Very good investment, 2+ mates he picked up. Now he want to diversify into income driven assets in the market of Dubai, and then he can move towards the other parts. Now to create a portfolio in Dubai, it totally depends on the criteria of how old are you, what kind of life stage are you in right now, how much of a risk appetite you have. What I understood after having a complete detailed discussion about the market and his strategies and doing his cash flow analysis, he need to have immediate income driven assets. And he also want to look towards the assets which has a long-term growth, and we can buy right now at the very early stage, and we can see through the numbers that it has some kind of a growth attached to it. And also he needs those kinds of assets which are very resilient. Now, by resilience, he means that he needs some kind of an asset which are very much defensive assets. Now all of these different categories of portfolio have their own timeline, but if you select the right assets which basically have a complete market in which people are actually looking and they want to buy those kinds of houses, these kinds of assets will eventually turn into resilient asset or a defensive asset in the end. So the income driven assets are mostly your ready properties which are generating a good rental amount, very stable 7 to 8% rental returns. And your growth driven assets are like your off-plan investments in which you can get in early at the very early price per square feet. In some cases, the price per square feet is not only the answers, like in the case of DIFC2, which I will explain in the later of this video. The kind of a product that they are coming up with, if you look into DIFC, what kind of buildings are available for rental accommodation or even to acquire those properties basically compared to this new launch are not up to the standards. So we are going to understand that as well, the sizes, we're going to look at the designs, we're going to look at the floor plan, so we will have a complete idea on that. He also wanted something which is very stable, less volatile, and it's highly liquid asset. Like if he buys right now and he want to sell it out after a year or 2 years, it is an ever appreciating asset, so it will never lose value, and it also gives you some kind of appreciation whenever you want to liquidate out of the market of Dubai. Now the inflation rate right now is 2.99%. So if a property has 10% or 15% appreciation every year, I think those kind of assets will comes under the category of the resilient asset. Now in the last part of this video, I'm going to explain what kind of assets are basically your income driven assets, what kind of assets are basically your growth driven assets, and what kind of assets are right now, if you pick up, these are your those kinds of assets which will always shield or protect your wealth, and they will never lose value even if the market takes any kind of a downturn or hits a correction in any case. But before getting into that, you also need to understand the kind of infrastructure which is coming up in Dubai right now. So whenever you're investing into those products which are basically right now very hyped, and a lot of brokers are talking about it, but the actual value, where does it have the actual value? So you really need to have an idea that the kind of infrastructure which is coming up right now in Dubai. Now, Dubai Loop is another big infrastructure which is happening right now as we speak. Your Dubai Spine is another big infrastructure which will create a lot of value in the livability and the experience and the accessibility inside the city of Dubai, which is basically another point to understand whenever you're investing into any kind of a product in certain areas. You have a trade center roundabout, you have Al Fay Road expansion happening, you have Hessa Street expansion happening right now, you have Kudra expansion already planned, you have metro plans already published which will be upcoming in the next 10 to 15 years. You have Infinity Bridge which will be accommodating towards the accessibility of Dubai Island and your maritime city. You have a big giant infrastructure of Expo City, which is also going to generate a lot of jobs in the coming near future, and also Dubai World Trade Center and Dubai World Central, which is also another big wealth magnet, and it is going to accommodate all of those experiences. It will elevate the city to the next level. And if you really understand all of these infrastructure and you build your portfolio around these areas, you will be creating the most resilient portfolio in the market of Dubai. Even if you don't work for the next 50 years, this kind of portfolio will keep on generating you wealth. So we have touched a little bit upon what kind of assets to pick whenever you're building a portfolio. We have touched a little bit upon the infrastructure, which is the big infrastructure which is coming up in Dubai right now. Now, what are the trends right now, which is basically where people are basically moving? They are not just investing, they actually want to buy those kinds of properties. And this is basically become the genetics of anyone who is buying real estate in Dubai. They want or desire these kinds of properties right now in Dubai. I'm not putting into rank, but just to give you clarity on the macro trends in the real estate market of Dubai, your beachfront properties come number one. Second is your wellness properties, wellness communities. Third is your commercial properties right now is also very much in demand because of a hugely undersupplied segment right now in Dubai. Fourth is your villa segment in Dubai, which is another hugely undersupplied segment as per the market of today. And fifth will be your apartments, which comes near to downtown or any city center where there is a lot of hustle bustle. You have accessibility to the malls, you have accessibility to the all kinds of high-end retail. So whenever I'm talking about these trends, you get some idea what kind of communities I'm also talking about whenever any of these keywords hits your mind through any of the videos. Now, Dubai right now comes at number 9 in GPCI, Global Power City Index in the world. But how does GPCI basically gives a ranking to a city, right? So if you go into the categories and they evaluate and assess a city's power index through 6 categories, in which we have economy, we have accessibility for the city, we have environment and livability, cultural interaction, and research and development. So, but if you really look into the ranking and you look into the categories in which Dubai is right now booming, you will see that in research and development, Dubai is right now not as elevated compared to any other city. But if you look into the environment, it is also where Dubai has some kind of a downside if you put it into rank with other countries. But if you look into economy, you look into accessibility, you look into the livability, and you look into the cultural interaction, you will find that Dubai is an ever increasing city. And as much as these new wellness based communities, forest style communities, as much as Dubai is populating the whole city with the greenery, this city is becoming more and more livable for a lot of people. So what is the major problem the long-term residents of Dubai has is your summer heat, right? So usually what people do, they live 6 to 8 months in the city, and the rest of the months of the summertime, they usually go back to their own countries. and they have their own vacations here until the summer is over in Dubai right now. This trend is also slowly and gradually changing. Right now, because the city is growing, is just 25 years old, most of the residents who are coming to the city, they are fairly new. They are not living here for the past 10-15 years. So most of the population is basically comprising of 18 to 40 or 44 age of people right now living in the market of Dubai. As much as the city evolves, all of these infrastructure will deliver, the market will become much more of a magnet for just not the population, but also for the businesses, also for new hospitality sectors. Now, currently, one of the most finest and ultra luxury hospitality sector also have launched their hotels in Dubai. Now, all of those exclusivities which were reserved for all of those developed countries, now Dubai is in the next 4 or 5 years, you will find all kinds of services, the ultra luxury, the HNIs, and the kind of brands that they look for. Everything will be accessible and available in this city. Now, since 2023 till 2025, our growth rate of household formation was 8% in 2023, more or less 8% plus minus in 2024. In 2025, this number reached to 7%. Now, if you look into the population growth rate, it is only 5.2, 5.3%. So the trend for bigger houses, more livable housing communities is becoming higher and higher every day, because more big size families, the households are basically relocating inside the city of Dubai. Now, anyone who has been watching my previous videos, they know that what I'm talking about. Since 2025, the current average family size is now 4.2. Last time we spoke, it was 3.5. This clearly indicates us what kind of houses to select, what kind of houses to buy if we want to do the right kind of an investment. Now we're going to go to the screen and understand the location and my top 5 selection of the products which are one of the best investments in UAE right now. If you select any of these investments, your investment will also grow. But again, once the property is completely mature, these kind of assets will keep on appreciating year on year. Now, if you have seen my previous video of Knight Frank or the Shoba Sanctuary versus the Valley, you will get an idea what kind of growth that I'm talking about. These kinds of properties will always have a double-digit growth year on year. So the new launch of the residences in DIFC2, we really need to assess like what kind of potential it has. So as we have discussed in the start of this video, the kind of assets that we want to secure if we are creating a portfolio. So I'm gonna give you all those factors of liquidity, the absorption, what is the rental values happening right now as we speak in DIFC. So before jumping into the ready market of DIFC, where the best case scenario, we have to check that what is the apple to apple comparison in DIFC ready buildings and the residences which is being launched. So there are not many options that we can find. Most of the options that were launched are basically your off-plan developments, in which there comes your Akala by Arada and then Jumeirah Emirates Tower. Another great architecture, the beautiful development based on the luxury, actual luxury, very thoughtful luxury, I would say. If we see the value, liquidity and do the absorption test, we understand if the property has that kind of a resilience that we are talking about. One of the best case study that I can give it to you in DIFC is right now the Burj Daman. Is basically a building which, if you look into the apartments, the listings of this building, that you will find some kind of a similarity. There is a difference between the sizes, the density and everything. But again, just to get an idea like where the prices are in the ready market in DIFC right now. So I'm not a big fan of one beds, but again, one beds still have a value. But again, if it reaches above 3 million dirham mark, it little bit kind of rings a bell, because we are targeting those segments where the families are basically want to move in. So your long-term audience will be your commercial people who will be coming to work there, the highly paid executives who will be working in DIFC 1 and 2. Now, as per the master plan that they have published, they are dedicating 1 million square feet of a space just for the AI. So there will be a huge chunk of people who are basically related to tech industry will be working in DIFC as well. So this is basically your ready listings of 3 bed, which is being listed at 2,000 square feet, 7.6 million in Burj Daman, premiumly furnished apartment. and this is the value. 7.95, has the bird view as well from the other side. Great kind of an example to see the potential of the kind of a apartment that you should choose in this new development of DIFC2. Now 6.9 million, again another listing of 3-bed. Then 2-bed is also listed at more or less a similar price, but it's fully upgraded 2-bed. It is listed at 6.3 million dirham mark, and then 7.5. So this gives you some kind of an idea that this is the kind of a potential of the prices to reach there. Now this is not the ceiling, because the newer development which are coming up, they are much more fine designs by the developer, and the density is only in just 2 buildings that they are launching only 463 units. So it will be a launch which will be a big sellout. Now let's look at the rental. The 2-bedroom and a 3-bedroom rental listings, you can see that 3 bedrooms right now in the today's market is 325,000 a year, 490,000 another 3-bed, 318,000 another, 350,000, 320,000 and 350,000. So floor to ceiling height, wooden flooring, these kinds of luxury that people want inside their house. 240,000 another listing, 290,000, big layout. Now this is the most important thing whenever you're choosing any kind of an investment where you want to maximize your ROE and you don't want to lose value, you want your property to be less volatile. You should choose the bigger size of that category, even if you're choosing a 2-bed or a 3-bed. So this creates that kind of a market, a different kind of a premium apart from any other apartment that anyone is selling in those development. Now I wanted to show you another thing. This is a fact of market. So last year, April in 2025, there was a launch happened with the name of DIFC Heights Tower. Now, if you want to understand if the property is liquid, this is your best case scenario to give you an understanding if these properties are liquid or not. Now, just 1 year, a 1-bed was sold at 11% premium. 3.6 is the price for that kind of a 1-bed. It is only the groundwork has been done. The development still has on at least 3-4 years time for it to completely finish and mature. A 3-bed, 4% premium, 4,300 price per square feet, 7.57 million was the market price. Another 3-bed was sold at plus 3% premium, 7.5. Another 1-bed was sold at 16% from the initial price, and 3.5 is the price. So this is the kind of a price that you can expect in this new launch, although the starting price is touching to 3,600 price per square feet. But you can expect to secure a good unit, a well-sized unit in the 1-bed category at the price point of 3 and above million. Now in this, if you want to pick up a 1-bed, you should pick at least a 2-bed and a 1-bed mix, so that you won't have any kind of a challenge and your risk is adjusted when you're investing into this kind of a development. So in this video, I just want to conclude with the new DIFC launch. In the next video, if you want to know my top 5 investment opportunities in Dubai right now to create a sustainable portfolio in which the chances of volatility is less, the risk appetite is not high, but the reward is amazing, and the data supports those kinds of propositions as well. So in the next video, I'm going to discuss about my top 5 investment opportunities in Dubai right now. Just before ending this video, the sizes of residences in DIFC2 is basically are as mentioned below. So you can see it on the screen right now, the kind of a size that they are doing. Now, if you want to register yourself in this new launch, the UI process have already been started. You can contact me on my given number. We already have a priority allocation from the developers, so we will help you secure the right assets. Now, I'm not that kind of a consultant who will sell you anything. If we don't find our right kind of a selection of units, which I have already marked out in the floor plans, we will not move ahead. We will wait for the next opportunity in this same master plan. Now, this is very important. Whenever you're doing any kind of an investment in Dubai, you should buy the right kind of assets in which the expectation of the premium is good, but apart from the premium, your property should be highly liquid in the market of Dubai. So I hope you like this video. If you think anyone can benefit from this information, please forward this information to them. I try to add as much value through my YouTube channel so that people don't have a bad experience whenever they're investing into real estate of Dubai. So thank you for watching.
This is Matloob Ahmed Khan signing out.